Welcome to our channel World's Every Country.
The Taj Mahal is an ivory white marble mausoleum on the southern bank of the river Yamuna in the Indian city of Agra. It was commissioned in 1632 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan to house the tomb of his favorite wife, Mumtaz Mahal. It also houses the tomb of Shah Jahan himself. The Taj Mahal is tomb built in the 17th century by King Shah Jahan in memory of his wife, Mumtaz Mahal. Its chief architect was Ustad Ahmad Lahori. The building is in the city of Agra, Uttar Pradesh. Widely thought as one of the most beautiful buildings in the world, it is one of India's biggest tourist attractions. It is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, together with the Agra Fort, 2.5 kilometers away. It was listed as one of the 7 wonders of the world in 2007. It is located on the south bank of Yamuna River in Agra. It is a splendid monument, but because of pollution, the Taj Mahal is turning yellow. It is one of the most notable Islamic architectures built by the Mughals in India. The Eiffel Tower Tour Eiffel is a wrought iron lattice tower on the Champ de Mars in Paris, France. It is named after the engineer Gustave Eiffel, whose company designed and built the tower. It was constructed from 1887 to 1889 at the entrance to the 1889 World's Fair and was initially criticized by some of France's leading artists and intellectuals for its design, but it has become a global cultural icon of France and one of the most recognizable structures in the world. The Eiffel Tower is the most visited paid monument in the world. 6.91 million people ascended it in 2015. The tower is 324 meters tall, about the same height as an 81-story building, and the tallest structure in Paris. Its base is square, measuring 125 meters on each side. During its construction, the Eiffel Tower surpassed the Washington Monument to become the tallest man-made structure in the world, a title it held for 41 years until the Chrysler Building in New York City was finished in 1930. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the oldest and largest of the pyramids in the Giza Pyramid complex bordering present-day Giza in Greater Cairo, Egypt. It is the oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and the only one to remain largely intact. Egyptologists conclude that the pyramid was built as a tomb for the 4th dynasty Egyptian pharaoh Khufu and estimate that it was built in the 26th century BC during a period of around 27 years. Initially standing at 146.5 meters, the Great Pyramid was the tallest man-made structure in the world for more than 3,800 years. Throughout history, the majority of the smooth white limestone casing was removed, which lowered the pyramid's height to the present 138.5 meters. What is seen today is the underlying core structure. The base was measured to be about 230.3 meters square, giving a volume of roughly 2.6 million cubic meters, which includes an internal hillock. The Golden Gate Bridge is a suspension bridge spanning the Golden Gate, the 1-mile-wide strait connecting San Francisco Bay and the Pacific Ocean. The structure links the U.S. city of San Francisco, California, the northern tip of the San Francisco Peninsula, to Marin County, carrying both U.S. Route 101 and California State Route 1 across the strait. It also carries pedestrian and bicycle traffic and is designated as part of U.S. Bicycle Route 95. Being declared one of the wonders of the modern world by the American Society of Civil Engineers, the bridge is one of the most internationally recognized symbols of San Francisco and California. It was initially designed by engineer Joseph Strauss in 1917. The Frommer's Travel Guide describes the Golden Gate Bridge as possibly the most beautiful, certainly the most photographed, bridge in the world. At the time of its opening in 1937, it was both the longest and the tallest suspension bridge in the world, with a main span of 1,280 meters and a total height of 227 meters. Christ the Redeemer is an Art Deco statue of Jesus Christ in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, created by French sculptor Paul Landowski and built by Brazilian engineer Heitor da Silva Costa, in collaboration with French engineer Albert Cocot. Romanian sculptor Gheorghe Leonida fashioned the face. Constructed between 1922 and 1931, the statue is 30 meters high, excluding its 8-meter pedestal. The arms stretch 28 meters wide. The statue weighs 635 metric tons, and is located at the peak of the 700-meter Corcovado Mountain in the Tijuca Forest National Park overlooking the city of Rio de Janeiro. A symbol of Christianity across the world, the statue has also become a cultural icon of both Rio de Janeiro and Brazil and was voted one of the new 7 wonders of the world. It is made of reinforced concrete and soapstone. In 2010, a massive restoration of the statue began. Work included cleaning, replacing the mortar and soapstone on the exterior, restoring iron in the internal structure, and waterproofing the monument. The Sydney Opera House is a multi-venue performing arts centre on Sydney Harbour located in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. It is one of the 20th century's most famous and distinctive buildings. Designed by Danish architect Jorn Utzon, but completed by an Australian architectural team headed by Peter Hall, the building was formally opened on October 20, 1973 after a gestation beginning with Utzon's 1957 selection as winner of an international design competition. The Government of New South Wales authorised work to begin in 1958 with Utzon directing construction. The government's decision to build Utzon's design is often overshadowed by circumstances that followed, including cost and scheduling overruns as well as the architect's ultimate resignation. The building and its surrounds occupy the whole of Ben Long Point on Sydney Harbour, between Sydney Cove and Farm Cove, adjacent to the Sydney Central Business District and the Royal Botanic Gardens, and close by the Sydney Harbour Bridge. The Great Wall of China is a series of fortifications that were built across the historical northern borders of ancient Chinese states and Imperial China as protection against various nomadic groups from the Eurasian steppe. Several walls were built from as early as the 7th century BC, with selective stretches later joined together by Qin Shi Huang, 220–206 BC, the first emperor of China. Little of the Qin wall remains. Later on, many successive dynasties built and maintained multiple stretches of border walls. The most well-known sections of the wall were built by the Ming Dynasty, 1368–1644. Apart from defense, other purposes of the Great Wall have included border controls, allowing the imposition of duties on goods transported along the Silk Road, regulation or encouragement of trade, and the control of immigration and emigration. Mount Rushmore National Memorial is centered on a colossal sculpture carved into the granite face of Mount Rushmore in the Black Hills near Keystone, South Dakota. Sculptor Gutzon Borglum created the sculpture's design and oversaw the project's execution from 1927 to 1941 with the help of his son, Lincoln Borglum. The sculpture features the 60-foot, 18 meters, heads of Presidents George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln, as recommended by Borglum. The 4 presidents were chosen to represent the nation's birth, growth, development, and preservation, respectively. The memorial park covers 1,278 acres and the actual mountain has an elevation of 5,725 feet above sea level. Peter Norbeck, U.S. Senator from South Dakota, sponsored the project and secured federal funding. Construction began in 1927. Each president was originally to be depicted from head to waist, but lack of funding forced construction to end on October 31, 1941. The Colosseum is an oval amphitheater in the center of the city of Rome, Italy, just east of the Roman Forum. It is the largest ancient amphitheater ever built, and is still the largest standing amphitheater in the world today, despite its age. Construction began under the Emperor Vespasian 69–79 AD and was completed in 80 AD under his successor and heir, Titus, R. 79–81. Further modifications were made during the reign of Domitian. The 3 emperors that were patrons of the work are known as the Flavian dynasty, and the amphitheater was named the Flavian Amphitheater, Latin, Amphitheatrum Flavium, Italian, Anfiteatro Flavio by later classicists and archaeologists or its association with their family names. The Colosseum is built of travertine limestone, tough, volcanic rock, and brick-faced concrete. The Colosseum could hold an estimated 50,000 to 80,000 spectators at various points in its history, having an average audience of some 65,000. It was used for gladiatorial contests and public spectacles, including animal hunts. Angkor Wat, located in northwest Cambodia, is the largest religious structure in the form of a temple complex in the world by land area, measuring 162.6 hectares. At the center of the temple stands a quincunx of 4 towers surrounding a central spire that rises to a height of 65 meters above the ground. The temple has 3 rectangular galleries, each raised above the next. It lies within an outer wall 3.6 kilometers long and a moat more than 5 kilometers long. The temple was built at the behest of Suryavarman II in the early 12th century in Yasodharapura, the capital of the Khmer Empire, as the state temple for the empire. Originally constructed as a personal mausoleum for Suryavarman, dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu in the early 12th century, it was converted to a Buddhist temple towards the end of the 12th century. As the best preserved temple at the site, it is the only one to have remained a significant religious center since its foundation. The Cathedral of Vasily the Blessed, commonly known as St. Basil's Cathedral, is an Orthodox church in Red Square of Moscow, and is one of the most popular cultural symbols of Russia. The building, now a museum, is officially known as the Cathedral of the Intercession of the Most Holy Theotokos on the Moat, or Pokrovsky Cathedral. It was built from 1555 to 1561 on orders from Ivan the Terrible and commemorates the capture of Kazan and Astrakhan. It was the city's tallest building until the completion of the Ivan the Great Bell Tower in 1600. The original building, known as Trinity Church and later Trinity Cathedral, contained 8 chapels arranged around a 9th, central chapel dedicated to the intercession. A 10th chapel was erected in 1588 over the grave of the venerated local Saint Vasily. In the 16th and 17th centuries, the church, perceived as the earthly symbol of the heavenly city, was popularly known as the Jerusalem and served as an allegory of the Jerusalem Temple in the annual Palm Sunday parade attended by the Patriarch of Moscow and the Tsar. The Empire State Building is a 102-story Art Deco skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan, New York City, United States. It was designed by Shreve, Lamb and Harmon and built from 1930 to 1931. Its name is derived from Empire State, the nickname of the state of New York. The building has a roof height of 1,250 feet and stands a total of 1,454 feet tall, including its antenna. The Empire State Building stood as the world's tallest building until the construction of the World Trade Center in 1970. Following the latter's collapse in 2001, the Empire State Building was again the city's tallest skyscraper until 2012. As of 2020, the building is the 7th tallest building in New York City, the 9th tallest completed skyscraper in the United States, the 49th tallest in the world, and the 6th tallest freestanding structure in the Americas. In 1929, Empire State Incorporated acquired the site and devised plans for a skyscraper there. The design for the Empire State Building was changed 15 times until it was ensured to be the world's tallest building. Petra, originally known to its inhabitants as Rakhmu, is a historic and archaeological city in southern Jordan. It is adjacent to the mountain of Jabal al-Madba, in a basin surrounded by mountains forming the eastern flank of the Arabah Valley running from the Dead Sea to the Gulf of Aqaba. The area around Petra has been inhabited from as early as 7000 BC, and the Nabateans might have settled in what would become the capital city of their kingdom, as early as the 4th century BC. Archaeological work has only discovered evidence of Nabatean presence dating back to the 2nd century BC, by which time Petra had become their capital. Petra is also called the Red Rose City because of the color of the stone from which it is carved. It has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1985. UNESCO has described Petra as one of the most precious cultural properties of man's cultural heritage. In 2007, Al-Qatsneh was voted one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Machu Picchu is a 15th century Inca citadel, located in the eastern cordillera of southern Peru, on a 2,430-meter mountain ridge. It is located in the Machu Picchu district within Urubamba province above the Sacred Valley, which is 80 kilometers northwest of Cusco. The Urubamba River flows past it, cutting through the cordillera and creating a canyon with a tropical mountain climate. Most archaeologists believe that Machu Picchu was constructed as an estate for the Inca Emperor Pachacuti 1438–1472. The Incas built the estate around 1450 but abandoned it a century later at the time of the Spanish conquest. Machu Picchu was built in the classical Inca style, with polished dry stone walls. Its 3 primary structures are the Intihuatana, the Temple of the Sun, and the Room of the Three Windows. Machu Picchu was declared a Peruvian Historic Sanctuary in 1981 and a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. In 2007, Machu Picchu was voted one of the new 7 wonders of the world in a worldwide internet poll. Stonehenge is a prehistoric monument on Salisbury Plain in Wiltshire, England, 2 miles west of Amesbury. It consists of an outer ring of vertical sarsen standing stones, each around 13 feet high, 7 feet wide, and weighing around 25 tons, topped by connecting horizontal lintel stones. Inside is a ring of smaller blue stones. Inside these are freestanding trilithons, 2 bulkier vertical sarsens joined by 1 lintel. The whole monument, now ruinous, is orientated towards the sunrise on the summer solstice. The stones are set within earthworks in the middle of the most dense complex of Neolithic and Bronze Age monuments in England, including several hundred tumuli. One of the most famous landmarks in the United Kingdom, Stonehenge is regarded as a British cultural icon. The site and its surroundings were added to UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites in 1986. Deposits containing human bone date from as early as 3000 BC, when the ditch and bank were first dug, and continued for at least another 500 years. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, or simply the Tower of Pisa, is the campanile, or freestanding bell tower, of the Cathedral of the Italian city of Pisa, known worldwide for its nearly 4-degree lean, the result of an unstable foundation. The tower is situated behind the Pisa Cathedral and is the 3rd oldest structure in the city's cathedral square, after the cathedral and the Pisa Baptistry. The height of the tower is 55.86 meters from the ground on the low side and 56.67 meters on the high side. The width of the walls at the base is 2.44 meters. Its weight is estimated at 14,500 metric tons. The tower began to lean during construction in the 12th century, due to soft ground which could not properly support the structure's weight, and it worsened through the completion of construction in the 14th century. By 1990, the tilt had reached 5.5 degrees. The structure was stabilized by remedial work between 1993 and 2001, which reduced the tilt to 3.97 degrees. The Lincoln Memorial is a U.S. national memorial built to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. It is on the western end of the National Mall in Washington, D.C., across from the Washington Monument, and is in the form of a neoclassical temple. The memorial's architect was Henry Bacon. The designer of the memorial interior's large central statue, Abraham Lincoln, 1920, was Daniel Chester French. The Lincoln statue was carved by the Piccirilli brothers. The painter of the interior murals was Jules Guérin, and the epithet above the statue was written by royal courtesans. Dedicated in May 1922, it is one of several memorials built to honor an American president. It has always been a major tourist attraction and since the 1930s has sometimes been a symbolic center focused on race relations. The building is in the form of a Greek Doric temple and contains a large seated sculpture of Abraham Lincoln and inscriptions of 2 well-known speeches by Lincoln, the Gettysburg Address and his second inaugural address. The Parthenon is a former temple on the Athenian Acropolis, Greece, dedicated to the goddess Athena, whom the people of Athens considered their patroness. Construction started in 447 BC when the Athenian Empire was at the peak of its power. It was completed in 438 BC, although decoration of the building continued until 432 BC. It is the most important surviving building of classical Greece, generally considered the zenith of the Doric order. Its decorative sculptures are considered some of the high points of Greek art. The Parthenon is regarded as an enduring symbol of ancient Greece, democracy and Western civilization, and one of the world's greatest cultural monuments. To the Athenians who built it, the Parthenon, and other Periclean monuments of the Acropolis, were seen fundamentally as a celebration of Hellenic victory over the Persian invaders, and as a thanksgiving to the gods for that victory. Since 1975, numerous large-scale restoration projects have been undertaken, the latest was finished in 2020. The Space Needle is an observation tower in Seattle, Washington, United States. Considered to be an icon of the city in the Pacific Northwest, it has been designated a Seattle landmark. Located in the Lower Queen Anne neighborhood, it was built in the Seattle Center for the 1962 World's Fair, which drew over 2.3 million visitors. Nearly 20,000 people a day used its elevators during the event. The Space Needle was once the tallest structure west of the Mississippi River, standing at 605 feet. The tower is 138 feet wide, weighs 9,550 short tons and is built to withstand winds of up to 200 miles per hour and earthquakes of up to 9.0 magnitude, as strong as the 1,700 Cascadia earthquake. It also has 25 lightning rods. The Space Needle features an observation deck 520 feet above ground, providing views of the downtown Seattle skyline, the Olympic and Cascade Mountains, Mount Rainier, Mount Baker, Elliott Bay, and various islands in Puget Sound. The Basilica de la Sagrada Familia, also known as the Sagrada Familia, is a large unfinished Roman Catholic minor basilica in the Eixample district of Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain. Designed by the Spanish architect Antoni Gaudí, 1852–1926, his work on the building is part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. On November 7, 2010, Pope Benedict XVI consecrated the church and proclaimed it a minor basilica. On March 19, 1882, construction of the Sagrada Familia began under architect Francisco de Paula del Villar. In 1883, when Villar resigned, Gaudí took over as chief architect, transforming the project with his architectural and engineering style, combining Gothic and curvilinear Art Nouveau forms. Gaudí devoted the remainder of his life to the project, and he is buried in the crypt. At the time of his death in 1926, less than a quarter of the project was complete. The basilica is not the cathedral church of the Archdiocese of Barcelona, as that title belongs to the Cathedral of the Holy Cross and Saint Eulalia. Moai are monolithic human figures carved by the Rapa Nui people on Easter Island in eastern Polynesia between the years 1250 and 1500. Nearly half are still at Rano Waraku, the main Moai quarry, but hundreds were transported from there and set on stone platforms called ahu around the island's perimeter. Almost all Moai have overly large heads 3/8 the size of the whole statue. The Moai are chiefly the living faces, Aringa Ora, of deified ancestors. The production and transportation of the more than 900 statues is considered a remarkable creative and physical feat. The tallest Moai erected, called Paro, was almost 10 meters high and weighed 82 tons. The heaviest Moai erected was a shorter but squatter Moai at Ahu Tongariki, weighing 86 tons. One unfinished sculpture, if completed, would have been approximately 21 meters tall, with a weight of about 145 to 165 tons. The Moai were toppled in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, possibly as a result of European contact or internecine tribal wars. The Statue of Liberty is a colossal neoclassical sculpture on Liberty Island in New York Harbor within New York City, in the United States. The copper statue, a gift from the people of France to the people of the United States, was designed by French sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi and its metal framework was built by Gustave Eiffel. The statue was dedicated on October 28, 1886. The statue is a figure of Libertas, a robed Roman liberty goddess. She holds a torch above her head with her right hand, and in her left hand carries a tabula ansata inscribed July 4, 1776 in Roman numerals, the date of the U.S. Declaration of Independence. A broken shackle and chain lie at her feet as she walks forward, commemorating the recent national abolition of slavery. After its dedication, the statue became an icon of freedom and of the United States, seen as a symbol of welcome to immigrants arriving by sea. The statue was administered by the United States Lighthouse Board until 1901 and then by the Department of War. Since 1933 it has been maintained by the National Park. Chichen Itza was a large pre-Columbian city built by the Maya people of the Terminal Classic period. The archaeological site is located in Tina Municipality, Yucatan State, Mexico. Chichen Itza was a major focal point in the northern Maya lowlands from the Late Classic, circa AD 600 to 900, through the Terminal Classic, circa AD 800 to 900, and into the early portion of the Post-Classic period, circa AD 900 to 1200. The site exhibits a multitude of architectural styles, reminiscent of styles seen in central Mexico and of the Puic and Shen styles of the northern Maya lowlands. The presence of central Mexican styles was once thought to have been representative of direct migration or even conquest from central Mexico, but most contemporary interpretations view the presence of these non-Maya styles more as the result of cultural diffusion. Chichen Itza was one of the largest Maya cities, and it was likely to have been one of the mythical great cities, or tolans, referred to in later Mesoamerican literature. Sultan Ahmed Mosque, also known as the Blue Mosque, is an Ottoman-era historical imperial mosque located in Istanbul, Turkey. A functioning mosque, it also attracts large numbers of tourist visitors. It was constructed between 1609 and 1616 during the rule of Ahmedides. Collier contains Ahmed's tomb, a madrasa and a hospice. Hand-painted blue tiles adorn the mosque's interior walls, and at night the mosque is bathed in blue as lights frame the mosque's 5 main domes, 6 minarets and 8 secondary domes. It sits next to the Hagia Sophia, the principal mosque of Istanbul until the Blue Mosque's construction, and another popular tourist site. The Blue Mosque was included in the UNESCO World Heritage Site list in 1985 under the name of Historic Areas of Istanbul. While his predecessors had paid for their mosques with the spoils of war, Ahmedi procured funds from the treasury, because he had not gained remarkable victories. The construction was started in 1609 and completed in 1616. The Mont Saint-Michel is a tidal island and mainland commune in Normandy, France. The island lies approximately 1 kilometer off the country's northwestern coast, at the mouth of the Quinone River near Avranches, and is 7 hectares in area. The mainland part of the commune is 393 hectares in area, so that the total surface of the commune is 400 hectares. As of 2017, the island had a population of 30. The commune's position, on an island just a few hundred meters from land, made it accessible at low tide to the many pilgrims to its abbey, but defensible as an incoming tide stranded, drove off, or drowned would-be assailants. The island remained unconquered during the 100 Years' War. A small garrison fended off a full attack by the English in 1433. Louis XI recognized the reverse benefits of its natural defense and turned it into a prison. The abbey was used regularly as a prison during the Ancien regime. Mont Saint-Michel and its bay are on the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites. The Leshan giant Buddha is a 71-meter-tall stone statue, built between 713 and 803, depicting Maitreya. It is carved out of a cliff face of Cretaceous red-bed sandstones that lies at the confluence of the Min River and Dadu River in the southern part of Sichuan province in China, near the city of Leshan. The stone sculpture faces Mount Ma, with the rivers flowing below its feet. It is the largest and tallest stone Buddha statue in the world, and it is by far the tallest pre-modern statue in the world. The Mount Ma Scenic Area, including Leshan Giant Buddha Scenic Area, has been listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1996. Being one of the 6 World Cultural Heritage Sites in the province of Sichuan, it receives a lot of tourist visits. From 2001 to 2003, it was ranked the second most popular attraction amongst the provincial heritage sites with 1.4 to 1.5 million visitors per year. In 2004, there was a breakthrough which led the numbers to drastically go up to 2.1 million visitors. The Burj Khalifa, known as the Burj Dubai prior to its inauguration in 2010, is a skyscraper in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. With a total height of 829.8 meters and a roof height excluding antenna, but including a 244-meter spire of 828 meters, the Burj Khalifa has been the tallest structure and building in the world since its topping out in 2009, supplanting Taipei 101, the previous holder of that status. Construction of the Burj Khalifa began in 2004, with the exterior completed 5 years later in 2009. The primary structure is reinforced concrete, and some of the structural steel for the building originated from the Palace of the Republic in East Berlin, the former East German Parliament. The building was opened in 2010 as part of a new development called Downtown Dubai. It is designed to be the centerpiece of large-scale, mixed-use development. The building broke numerous height records, including its designation as the tallest building in the world. Burj Khalifa was designed by Adrian Smith, of Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill. Paro taktsang, also known as the Taktsang Palpug Monastery and the Tiger's Nest, is a sacred Vajrayana Himalayan Buddhist site located in the cliffside of the Upper Paro Valley in Bhutan. It is one of 13 Tiger's Nest caves in historical Tibet in which Padmasambhava practiced and taught Vajrayana. A later monastery complex was built in 1692, around the Taktsang Sengye Samdup cave, where Guru Padmasambhava meditated and practiced with students including Yeshud Sogyal before departing the Kingdom of Tibet in the early 9th century. Padmasambhava is credited with introducing Vajrayana Buddhism to Bhutan, which was then part of Tibet, and is the tutelary deity of the country. Today, Paro Taktsang is the best known of the 13 Taktsang or tiger lair caves in which he and his students meditated. It has become the cultural icon of Bhutan. A popular festival, known as the Tsechu, held in honor of Padmasambhava, is celebrated in the Paro Valley sometime during March or April. The Statue of Unity is a colossal statue of Indian statesman and independence activist Vallabhbhai Patel, 1875–1950, who was the first Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister of independent India and an adherent of Mahatma Gandhi during the nonviolent Indian independence movement. Patel was highly respected for his leadership in uniting 562 princely states of India with a major part of the former British Raj to form the single Union of India. The statue is located in the state of Gujarat, India. It is the world's tallest statue with a height of 182 meters. It is located on the Narmada River in the Kevadia colony, facing the Sardar Sarovar Dam 100 kilometers southeast of the city of Vadodara and 150 kilometers from Surat. Kevadia railway station is located at a distance of just 5 kilometers from Statue of Unity. The project was first announced in 2010 and the construction of the statue started in October 2013 by Larsen and Toubro, with a total construction cost of $422 million. The Palm Jumeirah is a man-made archipelago in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, created using land reclamation which extends into the Persian Gulf. It is part of a larger series of developments called the Palm Islands, including Palm Jebel Ali and Palm Dara, which, when completed, will together increase Dubai's shoreline by a total of 520 kilometers. It has an estimated population of 10,500 as of 2016. It is located on the Jumeirah coastal area of the Emirate of Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates. The construction was done as a joint venture by two Dutch specialist companies, Van Oord and Boskalis. The same companies also created the world. The recently opened destinations The Point, Club Vista Mare and Nikhil Mall are the latest additions to Palm Jumeirah. Construction of the Palm Jumeirah Dubai Island began in June 2001 and the developers announced handover of the first residential units in 2006. By the end of 2009, 28 hotels were opened on the crescent.
Thanks for watching our video. To show more love, please subscribe, share, comment,